In Wellington, Florida, a man named Jerry Nyman, who worked in the Palm Beach County School District in the Department of Transportation, needed to use Google Maps as this was a routine part of his job. This included tracking the buses and mapping to choose the best stopping points between students' residences and schools, thus preventing kids from having to cross dangerous streets, for example. On August 26, 2019, a school called Polo Park requested services from Palm Beach. Jerry, in turn, looked on Google Maps for the location. He then realized that it was located very, very close to where his ex-girlfriend, Erica Pitkus, lived. The two of them had been in a relationship for a few years, and the end was amicable enough. They had contact from time to time, whenever necessary. In a moment of curiosity, Jerry decided to look at the neighborhood where Erica lived, and this led him to noticing something strange in the neighborhood lake. As he zoomed in on the image, he wasn't sure, but he believed that in the lake, there could be a car.
Hi Erica, how are you?
Okay, yeah, and you?
Yeah, I'm okay too. Here, I'm calling you because I'm doing the mapping for a new client here at the company, a school near your house. And here on Google Maps, I saw something a little strange in this lake near where you live.
What do you mean?
I think there's a car in there.
A car?
Yeah. Very strange, right?
Oh my god, that's weird.
I wanted to know if you can go there to see if it's a car. Maybe it was a stolen car or someone. I don't know. Cars don't stay left like that in lakes, right?
Now I'm so curious. Where is it?
I'll send you the exact location and the photos I took here on Google Maps, okay?
Okay, I'll wait here.
Looking at the images she received, Erica also suspected that it was a car and went to the place to check it personally. But from the edge of the lake, she didn't have a clear view of it. Erica then decided to talk to her neighbor, explain the whole story, show him the photos, and then afterwards the neighbor also thought that it was a car, but looking at the lake himself, he couldn't see anything. The next best thing to do, they thought, was to call the police. That same night, the car was removed from the lake, but when they opened the car, the police found remains in the driver's seat. Immediately, the bones were taken for laboratory analysis. After a few days, the results came out, and the driver was identified. William Moldt, a man who was reported missing in Lantana, Florida in 1997. At the time, he was around 40 years old, and according to what was found out, he was a calm man who was not in the habit of drinking. But around the 7th of November 1997, he decided to go out to a nightclub in Lantana and ended up drinking too much. Around 9:30 at night, he called his girlfriend.
Baby, I'm leaving the club now. Should be home in a few minutes.
However, the moment William left the club that night was the last time he was seen. The next day, realizing that William still hadn't arrived, his family called the authorities and a huge search began. They did everything in their power. They searched every possible location, but found absolutely nothing, and years later, the case was eventually closed. All that changed 22 years later, when in just a moment of leisure, at work, a person who was using Google Maps accidentally solved a mystery that had gone unsolved for more than 20 years. When the body was identified as William, the police began to stipulate the chances of how he could have ended up there. Their main theory was that since he wasn't used to drinking, and many witnesses reported that he overdid it the night of November 7th, he probably got flustered on the way home, took a nap at the wheel, and ended up trying to dodge something in the street, and in a sudden moment, and without noticing, he ended up at the bottom of the lake. This accident hypothesis was supported by the discovery that, at the time of the disappearance, the area near the crash was under residential construction. There were a lot of materials lying around, and maybe, in the middle of the night, William must have tried to dodge them, and ended up heading towards the lake. Another thing that's quite curious in this case is that satellite photos of the region did not show the car until the year 2019. Most likely, there was a reduction in the amount of water in the lake, and that is why the car spent all these years practically camouflaged by the dark colour of the water. Finally, William's family was able to receive the remains of their loved one, complete the burial procedures, and bring some closure to this anguish that had been plaguing them for 22 years.